What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 23 realistic rebuild. Whereas voted on by you guys in the comments, we're going to be taking the Chicago Bears. And over the next 5 seasons, aided with the help of the 2023 NFL Draft, we are going to try and turn this Bears team into a Super Bowl winning squad. I think you look at the big picture, the best teams, the worst teams in Madden 23, and unfortunately the Chicago Bears are amongst one of the worst teams in this game, but that doesn't really paint the full picture here because the players that they do have that are pretty good, you gotta just be highly optimistic on them. Fields, Montgomery, Mooney, Kmet, those guys alone, those skill position players, all are not even scratching the surface of their prime. You look at the defensive side of the ball, not as much, but you do have an outstanding linebacker. I'll tell you right now, we're going to do everything in our power to keep him here. You had a pretty decent draft where you get Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon. And of course, very, very underrated corner here, Stardev Jalen Jaxon. So before we get into this rebuild though, fellas, as always, for all of our Madden 23 videos, I know it's the YouTuber thing, but if we could continue to crush our 1,000 like goal, that would be awesome. And let me know in the comment section below what team you want to see next featured in a Madden 23 rebuild. So as we break down our roster, starting at quarterback, Justin Fields is really, everyone is hoping that he is going to show some form of superstardom here in the 2022 season, even if it's just the beginning, even if it takes most of the year, and it's near the end of the year where you're starting to see like, wow, this guy is going to be a franchise quarterback. Like that, they would take that as a win. I think he is. From a Madden standpoint, well, we focus it on from a Madden standpoint. From a Madden standpoint, he's a ridiculous athlete. 90 speed, 91 acceleration, 92 throw power. I also think in real life, there's a player in there, but not so much him. And I don't want to just blast the Bears. I'm gonna try to make the Bears good. I want to be on your guys' good side. I'm frustrated as a neutral fan that the Bears are stunting his growth by their inability to put talent around him. That's just, I don't know, man. From an outsider, it's frustrating. I can only imagine what it's like actually being a Chicago Bears fan. I will say right now, we kind of have 2 veteran quarterbacks here. And I'm going to move on we'll get rid of at least Peterman. I want to grab a quarterback off free agency with the mentor tag so we get that extra XP boost for Justin Fields here, especially early on in this rebuild. Running back room, we got David Montgomery, very solid running back. 84 with the start of 25, so it's a fantastic age. As long as he wants to continue to be a part of this, we can have him for the full 5 years and not really worry about any form of regression. Great, reliable, you want to say he's a power back. He's all around, an all-around, well-rounded type guy. So, you put that, you have Khalil Herbert, who's solid. Again, maybe actually another room that could benefit from getting a veteran with the mentor tag to get some extra XP there with both Montgomery and Herbert. Just starting to get up to their upside. Fullback room, well, we have fullbacks. Wide receivers, we got Darnell Mooney, who is the best of the bunch here. 79 with the start of 24 years old. Very, very good speed, 93 speed, 93 acceleration. You get the 88 catching. If someone is going to break out this year in real life, in Madden, alongside Justin Fields, I'm putting my money on it being Darnell Mooney. I have a couple of veterans here. They made the trade for N'Keal Harry, former first-round pick, and half Canadian, I'm pretty sure. And maybe there's some upside still there, but ultimately, you look at this wide receiver room, there's a lot of high expectations for Velus Jones Jr., the rookie out of Tennessee. Great speed, height, weight, speed, but at this point, he's coming into the NFL as more of a, I honestly think, a special teamer. He's a dangerous return man, but maybe 25-year-old rookie though. He's older than N'Keal Harry, but we have some speed here at wide receiver, which is good. Tight end, we talked about at the top. I think another guy that can absolutely be a pillar on the offensive side of the ball here for us in this rebuild. Cole Kmet, 75 start F, only 23 years old, and he's just another part of what is becoming, I think, tight end U. It's really between Notre Dame and Iowa, but Notre Dame, very good school to be getting your tight ends from. Offensive line is where it gets a little dicey. You got serviceable at best. Need to find his replacement. We have Cody Whitehair, who's solid, but he is 30 years old. So up there a bit. Center, not much there. We go to the right side, still not getting any better whatsoever. And then you come down to Tevin Jenkins, second-year player at Oklahoma State. Actually has a dev trait, 72 star dev. And in real life, they're legitimately trying to trade him right now. So it makes no sense. Again, much like the Roquan thing, we are going to rectify this. He is going to be a part of this offensive line. He's clearly the best guy on this offensive line in terms of upside. So, yeah, Tevin Jenkins is not going on the trade block. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to be honest. I was aware who Travis Gibson was. Did not know he was pulling star devs. I don't want to say it's surprising. Maybe he's been crushing it low-key and I just missed it last season. For this rebuild, outstanding. I'll take a 25-year-old dev trade player every day of the week. Hopefully he can maintain that. At right defensive end, we have Robert Quinn, ageless wonder. I don't know if they have the actual stats line, but how many guys at 31 are just, oh, why don't they show his sacks, man? Didn't he have 18 and a half? I want to guess off the top of my head. Like a ridiculous amount of sacks for someone that is at that point in their career, man. Year 11. And I tell you what, he got at least 15, which is still absurd. Has the mentor tag, which actually might work for these guys, all things considered. It might even be worth it to put Gibson at right end. I'm going to do that. Gibson clearly will be starting for us, but I'm going to move him to right defensive end because he will be able to just still play left defensive end very easily in the depth chart, but he'll just get that XP boost from having Robert Quinn right there above him on the depth chart. So that's huge. D-tackle. So they're changing, right? They're going from a 3-4 to a 4-3. In terms of nose tackles, nope, don't really have one on the roster right now. Linebacking core, yikes. It's very much Roquan, Smith, and everybody else. I didn't mind Jaxon as a prospect coming to Wisconsin, so maybe there's something there potentially. Move him to, I don't know. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do right now. And this, I don't think this is cheesy, all things considered. We're not running a 3-4. I'm going to move Roquan into middle linebacker so we don't get charged edge rusher prices. You know what I'm saying? And also it gives the opportunity for Sanborn. We're not going anywhere year one, so let's throw him out there. Maybe he gets a lot of tackles. Maybe he goes up dev trade. Who knows? But Roquan Smith clearly, I don't even know if there's a bigger drop-off from linebacker 1 to linebacker 2 on any other team right now than the Chicago Bears. Roquan Smith is an absolute animal. We've seen the work that he's done in the virtual world in our Carolina Panthers series, but in real life, man, outstanding. Absolutely a top 10 linebacker at worst right now. Going to the secondary is led by Jalen Johnson out of Utah. Very high upside corner, and only 23 years old, 82 overall with that star dev. I expect him to be one of the pillars of this rebuild on the defensive side of the ball. Tavon Young's a solid slot. You got Kyler Gordon, the rookie out of Washington. He is going to start this year. Hopefully, gets on the field enough. Might be in contention for that defensive rookie of the year, which would yield a dev trait scenario. But I do think we're probably going to need to add at least one more corner in this rebuild. Maybe two, depending on the development of Kyler Gordon. Free safety, the veteran Eddie Jaxon, who's solid, but I feel like, I don't know, he cooled off a little bit. Felt like he was like emerging as a potential superstar type safety. And then maybe the last year or two, I don't know if it's been injuries or what exactly has kind of been happening there, but for all Madden's purposes, he's a very solid safety at 28. Strong safety, we have Jaquan Brisker. I love this pick out of Penn State. It's actually one of those guys that stopped maybe surprising. He didn't get a hidden dev right out the gate. I think also given the state of the Bears roster, come on, man, throw him a bone. Give Brisker a hidden dev. But outstanding safety prospect, 89 speed, 91 acceleration, 76 tackle, 87 hit power, plus the zone coverage, 71. Really an all-around modern-day safety. I think he's going to be a good play. If I had to say, give me someone on the defensive side of the ball to pop a dev here, year one, year two, I hope it's absolutely Jaquan Brisker. I'd love for him to be a monster. Santos and Gill at punter. We have our first-round picks, so we will be able to really improve this roster leaps and bounds in the coming offseason. But as it stands, it's all about, can we figure out Justin Fields' ceiling? Can we help him get there? And can we help him get there as soon as possible so we can win a couple freaking Super Bowls in this rebuild before it's over? So we got ourselves a mentor here for the running back room, Adrian Peterson. Do you guys remember Adrian Peterson? That wasn't the Adrian Peterson. Well, now that Adrian Peterson is the Adrian Peterson. If you know, you know. Our season goal for year one, honestly, we'll take the easy way out. 4 wins. So for year one extensions, I guess the good thing for the Browns is that we have $135 million of salary cap. So at least it's not an expensive, bad roster. And both Roquan Smith and David Montgomery, who are easily our top 2 targets, they want to resign. So we're not really going to have to overpay. So we're off David Montgomery here, this 5-year, $34 million deal, getting him locked up. And then Roquan Smith looking for a 5-year, $65 million deal. That's absolutely acceptable. And we still have well over $100 million to really, really jump into free agency and be aggressive in this first offseason. So, a thing happened here very late in the season. Justin Fields, authentically, I didn't even hop in on the sticks. gets a superstar depth trade. Week 16, 31 at 28 over the Buffalo Bills. He gets player of the week, 342 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, had 41 yards on the ground as our quarterback here. Just simply sensational. I mean, who was on the receiving end? You got to assume, I mean, look, 29 touchdowns. He's not that base stat line. He's not absolutely crushing it this year. I think from looking at that, you could also say that he wouldn't have got that dev trait at the end of the season. So it's absolutely clutch that in year, right at the buzzer, absolute throwaway year here for the Chicago Bears. We are on a 2-game win streak. Look, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Wow. Year 1 was a rough year, though, for the Chicago Bears. It was not for the Bucs as they win the Super Bowl 49-27 over the Chargers. Tom Brady, yet another Super Bowl yawn. Take a look at these stats here this season. I mean, we already saw the good news. This man right here went up dev trade. 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns to 12 picks for Justin Fields. Also chipped in 500 yards rushing. Nice year to Montgomery, too. 1,100 yards, 9 tutties. No 1,000-yard receivers, but that's really, really above expectations for Velus Jones Jr. Again, like I said, hiked up rookie, kind of, but more of a special teamer right now than he is a refined receiver. That's a terrific stat line. 9-6 for Mooney, 9-11 for Cole Kmet. That's an outstanding season for him. 800 yards, 6 touchdowns for N'Keal Harry. That's, he's playing at least above a bust level. Roquan Smith led the team with 163 tackles, over 100 there for Jalen. Johnson, almost 100 for the rookie Brisker. 8.5 sacks for Robert Quinn, 8 sacks for Gibson. Really no other premier pass rusher on our team. Interceptions, not great either. Led by 2 from the rookie Kyler Gordon, who also had 84 tackles. Look at the yearly awards. MVP, NFC Offensive Player of the Year, McCaffrey, Donald, Jahan Dotson, Kayvon Thibodeau. Fortunately, we got Velus Jones coming in number 4 and Kyler Gordon at 5. Brisker at 8 for the Rookie of the Year awards. Rest of these fairly exclusive to non-Chicago Bears. So as we close out year 1, do we have at least a couple dev traits outside of Justin Fields that we can be proud of? And on the offensive side of the ball, we did get a great dev trait to pop. Cole Kmet goes from star to a superstar. A really, really good season. Top 5 for a tight end. And on the defensive side of the ball, Roquan Smith goes from star up to a superstar. So 2 brand new. I would have liked to see maybe Brisker or Gordon, one of those rookies that played a whole lot of snaps for this defense, go up a dev. But I will take Roquan superstar, Justin Fields superstar, and Cole Kmet superstar with over $100 million of salary cap to make this team better. We've just been going through here before free agency, scrapping the roster, trimming some fat. Last one here will be Mario Edwards, almost $3 million in available cap. I think we're close to 135. Let's go buy ourselves a new team a little bit. Well, we've seen some very crazy free agencies here early in Madden 23 before the patch. This one actually was missing a lot of the popular names, oddly enough. But we're going to be trying to be aggressive here, get some top players in positions. Sean Murphy-Bunting at corner, Hargrave at D-tackle. He's a 1-year, kind of a Band-Aid. Looks really weird, too. Looks like the Steelers had the best offer, but we're above them. I'm not quite sure how that's working out. Elton Jenkins, who's kind of been, he's a guy that pops up in free agency quite a bit, but that's absolutely, in terms of impact, right up there. And then Tremaine Edmonds. Pair that with Roquan Smith. Yes, sir. Bring back the great defense. Okay, we got Murphy-Bunting, Jenkins, and Edmonds. Unfortunately, Hargrave. Dang, that would have been a good one. And this is absolutely brutal. So we didn't suck bad enough to get the number 1 pick. We sucked bad enough to get the number 2 pick. Looking at the board, it's Seattle. You're like, all right, they're going to go quarterback. They're going to go Bryce Young. They're going to go C.J. Stroud. And here they are. Like I had the thumbnail in my head designed. Will Anderson off the board at 1. What the hell do we do at 2? I mean, look at who's available. Jalen Carter at D-tackle. He is an absolute monster. I'm sure that would be a good pick. But the thing that I like about this draft class, and it's something we're going to have to make do, the wide receivers are ridiculous. We got a first-round grade here on Quentin Johnson. He's going to go fairly early. I assume Boutte here at wide receiver will also go, top 10-ish. As it goes down, the guy that I was most really intrigued about the 6th ranked wide receiver in this class, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, top 5 in talent, Ohio State. That is the chemistry, Justin Fields, JSN. I really want to make that happen. So I think what we do here is we make this selection. We will go Jalen Carter because we desperately need D-tackle. We have Brees, another option from Clemson, but we're going to go Jalen Carter now. Should be a great player, should be a high overall, got the hidden dev. And then we trade back up and try to get Jaxon Smith-Njigba. The wait has gone on long enough. The Colts are on the clock with pick 22. I want it. They want our 2nd this year, our 2nd next year, and a 4th rounder in 2023. That seems, about fair, give or take, if that's what they want to do. There's nothing on the board that they like, but we have done the due diligence. We have done our scouting, and we have firsthand knowledge. Justin Fields in our ear. The sprint, we probably didn't even have to make this trade now, but we are sprinting up to the board to announce Jaxon Smith-Njigba, a top 5 and true talent player in this draft class, is going to the Chicago Bears. So some really good names available here in the 3rd round at pick 2. We could go for another linebacker to really complete the room. Tremaine Edmonds. We could go Roquan in the middle. I'm looking at Overshown here from Texas. It's Bengals class. I know he's got to have some love for his Texas players. He's still on the board. Or I'm thinking we could look at Derek Hall out of Auburn. Pass rush, B block shed, B power move, A tackle. Combine looks pretty decent. My gut is saying Derek Hall, but my head is saying Overshown might have the better chance at a dev trait. Hall could be higher base rating, no dev. I'm going to go Overshown for now because at least at the end we still have another year of Robert Quinn. And no dev for Overshown. Maybe we see if we can try to trade back in and get Hall. But it's going to be tough to do. I want to try to get Hall. The Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. They want Robert Quinn. Absolutely not. They could take a future 3rd. Seems a little unrealistic. Or Khalil Herbert. Talented running back there as RB2. We just re-signed David Montgomery. That was when Ebner was a special teamer. We'll go with this one. The future 3rd doesn't make any sense. And at least here, if J.K. Dobbins didn't get fully healthy, someone like Khalil Herbert, hey, if you've been paying attention to the fantasy football world, it's kind of a sleeper this year. There you go, man. It's the Ravens. They must identify. If the Ravens want a player on your team, they're going to give you a 3rd round pick for a player on your team. They know something you don't. They're probably going to turn that guy into a Pro Bowler. And by trading back into the 3rd round, we could take another swing here at a linebacker, bring in Flo, but we'll go with Overshown and develop him. But we wanted to get a Derek Hall out of Auburn, hidden dev pass rusher, and future successor to Robert Quinn. So take a look at our draft recap. We were disappointed not to be able to get Will Anderson to fall to pick 2, but a hell of a consolation prize here in Jalen Carter, 79 with the hidden dev. This guy here has superstar potential right out the way. If you think Jordan Davis was good, Jalen Carter is at least as good. 90 acceleration, 88 strength, ridiculous numbers for a defensive tackle. And then somehow this guy slipping through the cracks, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 2020 Ohio State teammates with Justin Fields, reunited again. JSN's a lot better than the last time Justin Fields got to play with him, and I think he has absolute superstar potential. He's going to come in and probably challenge Darnell Mooney for our wide receiver 1 here in year 2. Overshown didn't pop with the dev trait, but I will take a 70 overall rating. That is good enough for him to start at right outside linebacker for us this year. We traded back, was very aggressive in the 3rd round to get Derek Hall. The stats just screamed draft him. He pops 73 hidden dev pass rusher. Might not see the field a whole lot as a rookie, but I think long term, as long as he doesn't lose that dev trait, will be a nice successor to Robert Quinn, who's probably going to retire. 5th round too, we traded Khalil Herbert to get that 3rd round pick. Able to get pretty much a replacement right away. Mohamed Ibrahim, underrated running back from Minnesota, had a bad injury, but I think he's going to bounce back. Great speed here, 94 speed, 92 acceleration, and that is a nice rating to pop. Then there's a doorless here, just depth along the defensive line, but an outstanding draft class for the Chicago Bears. We had a really impactful free agency, bringing in some pretty big names. This team is going to look drastically different here in year 2, and I think a whole lot better. So while this team is going to be significantly better in year 2, still have holes, as you can see, on the offensive line. But at least we get a big get here in Elgton Jenkins, who's going to be our new left tackle. And we throw in Jaxon Smith-Njigba, the uber talented wide receiver from Ohio State. Plus, you're going to figure as well, Cole Kmet. It's going to be a full year Cole Kmet and Justin Fields on that superstar dev. Defensively is where things get a little dirtier, I suppose. Not as clean as I would like. Jalen Carter is going to immediately be our starting D tackle 1. Murphy Bunting, who we signed in free agency, is going to be corner 2 outside Jalen Johnson. Gordon will be our slot corner. We got Edmonds moving to outside linebacker, which is always the plan. But we're a little bit worried about Hall potentially losing that dev. I don't want to say losing. We kind of make a house rule, if you will, that rookies can't lose their dev trait. But I mean, you know, he could play depending on how much we can rush him. I don't really know. I think between him and Overshown, we'll give him an opportunity. If it looks like our defense is sucking, we can go to Overshown right away. But hopefully we can have Hall not be a complete liability in coverage. You know, that's stupid. We'll go Overshown at right outside linebacker. Maybe Hall will get some additional reps there. And what we will do is we'll have him be a rush end specialist, so he will have plenty of opportunities to make plays as a rookie. But our goal last year, very low for the Chicago Bears, was 4 wins. I think this season we should be able to up it here, and our target is going to be 7. Let's see some progress. All right, glad we have a lot of salary cap here for our year 2 extensions. A lot of players we don't want to let walk. First up, we have Gibson, who's been, fairly rated. Like, let's see if we give him a 3-year fair deal. Kind of developing here, kind of broke out here. Maybe there's a little loyalty. We have Cole Kmet, who popped as a superstar last season. He's playing pretty well this year, so there's a chance that he might actually hold on to that dev trait. We have Darnell Mooney, who's already become a pretty decent, established weapon for Justin Fields. Even with Jaxon, Smith-Njigba, you need multiple wide receivers. Can't just have one. And then lastly, we have Jalen Johnson, the outstanding corner. We're going to offer him a 6-year, $67 million deal. We literally got all of our top guys re-signed and still have $78 million of cap. Our goal was 7 wins. We get 8, so we overachieved as the 2023 season concludes with the Cincinnati Bengals getting their first Super Bowl in franchise history, taking down the Green Bay Packers 41-31. And taking a look at our stats here this season, Justin Fields played pretty well. 4,600 yards passing, 38 touchdowns to 9 picks. That is a great stat line for him. With all said and done, 1,300 yards, 5 touchdowns for Montgomery, 5 and 4 for Justin Fields. On the receiving end, 85 catches, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns for Mooney. Smith-Njigba, who was our slot wide receiver this year, 91 catches, 1,200 yards, 16 touchdowns. And the dev trait is superstar, but he must have went up dev. I did see that it was a star when I drafted him. Offensive Rookie of the Year for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Spoiler alert. And he is a superstar dev. So at least he was a star. It wasn't like we popped 2 superstars, because on the defensive side, even though we got 100 tackles for both Smith and Edmonds, great return on investment on Edmonds. On the defensive side, Jalen Carter, 10.5 sacks, 15 TFLs for the rookie D tackle, and he is a superstar. He was a superstar right out the gate, so no Defensive Rookie of the Year award going there. Interceptions good. I mean, I'm happy that our elite linebacking core is actually playing as such. MVP of the league goes to Josh Allen. Justin Fields coming in at number 4. And then for the individual awards, Jaxon Smith-Njigba is the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And on the defensive side, we got to go all the way down to number 5. Jalen Carter at 5, Derek Hall at 6 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. We're going to ignore the fact that Sam Darnold's absolutely crushing it for the Seattle Seahawks. And we are going to take the small victories that we have gone and achieved here in year 2. Try to build off. We still have an insane amount of salary cap to be aggressive yet again to try to make our roster really good. But look at that, number 4 ranked offense as far as rushing yards are concerned. A top 10 rushing yard defense. This team is trending in the right direction ahead of year 3. And we're going to be aggressive in free agency yet again. We're not going to go after like the S-tier players that are available. There's plenty of X factors. Again, I'm trying not to highlight those until it gets patched, because it is, I don't know, I like to keep some level of immersion here for you guys. But we're still looking at 2 really good upgrades, both 26 years old. One is at right guard, plug and play. He would be a starter upgrade here. Mike Owenu from the Patriots formerly. And then big old Derek Brown at defensive tackle. I think him and Jalen Carter could, really form a formidable partnership there. In the inside, we land both of our targets, strengthening the trenches on either side of the ball. And the last piece of business for this offseason is to clearly pick up the 5th-year option of our superstar quarterback, Justin Fields. Now it is the draft. We are up at pick 13, and the board looks exceptional for us. We have the top wide receiver, and it's almost a tell at this point. If you get a guy that has terrible catching, D catching right now here on Bernie Wiley, so you know it's going to be in like the low 70s. But he has the 4.3, so top 5 in the 40, Top 3 in both 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. He's going to be, dev trait. There's a dev trait there. He's going to be an upgrade at wide receiver 3. Also, looking really at center. I've scouted here on the offensive line. I was just trying to generally go with best lineman available. Barrett looks pretty good, all things considered. We might be able to wait for him. He looks better than Wayne Sanchez. But the top lineman here is looking like Justin Jaylon out of Georgia with the outstanding. You see 40-plus reps on the bench press. You know it's going to be a good player. And he can most likely at 6'3", a little bit shorter, maybe be a starting center for us day one. Those are really the top 2 picks that I am looking for. Do we just go lineman? You know what I'm saying? Do we just grab the lineman? The bench, that's, wide receiver 3. We can get those in other years. Let's grab the damn lineman. 95 strength. Let's go hit it, Dev. And it was the wide receiver we wanted, but we got an exceptional one here in the 3rd round. Jerry Barton out of South Carolina. I bet you could guess why we drafted him. Maybe there's something that stands out there. So take a look at our recap here. Justin Jaylon, hidden dev, 78 overall. Might be the highest rated lineman we have drafted so far. For our team, he is going to slot in likely at center. I don't know if we're going to have any. The other guards might be better suited at center over him. And then Barton in the 3rd round, 73 with the hidden dev. Rest of the draft, just picking up some solid depth here across the team, offense and defense. I do want to take a look at that wideout. I bet you he was pretty good. At least as a Wiley. 76. I was going to say 67. No dev trait, though. 97 speed, 97. So, I mean, hey, we got 95, 95 for our speedster. Does pop the hidden dev. So, I mean, that's just a perfect draft. And we ended up with the #1 true talent player, Justin Jaylon. Year 3 for the Chicago Bears, and we are absolutely, I think, at a tipping point here to go on and do some absolute damage. Looking at our squad, changes. Jaylon, the #1 true player, is going to start at guard. We're going to move Cody White here. I think he was drafted as a center, so that is a natural position for him. One thing we might have missed, Cole Kmet lost his superstar, unfortunately, but still a star dev, only 25 years old. Upside is immense. Smith-Njigba got the superstar, so it's going to be a full season of that for him. I think he'll take his game to the next level, which will help the offense take it to the next level. Barton, our 3rd wide receiver, with the dev trait, and I assume we just got the Barton brothers here. Flip it to the defense. Derek Brown comes in free agency to really solidify the front 4. Roquan, Smith, Edmonds, and Overshown at linebacker. Brisker, Jaxon at safety. Johnson, Murphy, Bunting, and Kyler Gordon actually popped a dev that we missed last year. He is up to a star dev, which is a great spot for him as a 24-year-old player. So ultimately, this is a really, really strong team. Not S tier quite yet, but for year 3, things are shaping up definitely to be very competitive for the final years of this rebuild. And I think this season, I don't want to set too lofty goals, but I think with the way things have gone, year 3, playoffs? Ladies and gentlemen, Jaquan Brisker here in year 3 finally gets his break. It's been a couple of dev trait scenarios that he has had trigger and failed to really hit. Finally, in year 3, he is now a star dev and a nice 10K XP boost. More good news for this Bears team. Right before we take a look at contract extensions, Jaylon, 1st round hidden dev, #1 true talent player, pops with the superstar dev. That's huge, man, especially when you get that on a lineman. Mid-season of year 3, we're 6-6. Maybe a little bit below where we want to be, but we're right there, 2nd place in the NFC North. And let's look at some contract extensions. We still have but we still have $100 million plus. So we can sign really anybody that we want. And luckily it's a light, in-house extension period. Kevin Jenkins is the most valuable. We'll give him a very player-friendly deal because, again, another one that, in real life, maybe he's on the trade block. For all Madden purposes, doesn't make sense. Now, Eddie Jaxon is looking for a 3-year deal. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really want to pay him that. I'll offer him a 3-year, 33. What is he going to look like when he's 33 years old? 75? Like that, yeah. I don't know, man. I think we're going to have to move on from Eddie Jaxon. All things considered. Fine player. He's been okay for us. 2-year deal at the most. He wants 3 minimum. I don't think we're going to be able to reach common ground here. And at the conclusion of year 3, we go 10-7, come second place in NFC North, and punch our first playoff ticket. We are 88s across the board, and I'm fairly optimistic. I mean, this team is at least good enough that if we went on like a little bit of a surprise Cinderella run, wouldn't be shocking. We have some good players in place. Justin Fields, however, not a great year. I don't think he'll be holding on to that superstar dev unless his rushing numbers were very good. Maybe they're okay, but 14-9 for Montgomery. We had 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns for JSN. Everyone else kind of had a little bit of a down year. Jerry Barton was our hidden dev wide receiver. He popped as a star dev, which is, that's not too bad for a wide receiver 3. Roquan had a hell of a year, 144 tackles, 9 TFLs, 4 picks. Jalen Carter is getting uber Aaron Donald-esque production from the interior of this defensive line. 20 TFLs on 69 tackles, 14.5 sacks, 9 sacks for Gibson, 8.5 for Derek Brown. So really happy with these 3 guys' productions. Brisker, 4 picks. He got that dev trait in season, which was pretty freaking cool considering, if you looked at all the guys with normal devs, him and Kyler Gore, we said the very first preview of this Bears team, they're going to play a lot. They're going to have a lot of opportunities to go up dev, and I'm pretty happy that both those guys have here by year 3. Yearly awards, Bryce Young is the MVP. Congratulations to him. Looking quickly at the NFC, Jerry Barton, wide receiver of the year, in my opinion, out of all the rookies, is also offensive rookie of the year. So we might be in store for a superstar dev trade there, which would be absolutely awesome. And all things considered, that was a light win. He did not have an S-tier season, but if we could sneak in that superstar, that'd be pretty huge. Could we also sneak in a little bit of a playoff victory here? We have Kyler Murray going up against Justin Fields in the wild card round. I think we're the favorites. I think we're the better team, and we are able, in an absolute shootout, to knock off the Arizona Cardinals 49-35 in a matchup. Justin Fields gets his first playoff victory, 266 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Also able to get a rushing touchdown on 40 yards. What a dominant performance for this Bears offense. And now we're in a spot to take down the Commanders if we can, with MVP Bryce Young under center. They got Chase Young on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, still, they're only at 85 overall. It's winnable. Absolutely. And we smoke them till we dust them. 35-17. Bryce Young couldn't keep pace with the Chicago Bears offense. 371, 3 touchdowns for Justin Fields. As the Chicago Bears are somehow the Cinderella run. We are in the NFC Championship game. The 4-seed Panthers, the 6-seed Bears. Similar on the AFC side bracket. Look at that. The 5th and 6th seed are there. How fitting. We can somehow go on a crazy Super Bowl run here. We go to the Chiefs, and then it's LOL, you're playing the Chiefs. But we had to beat the Carolina Panthers. Can we stop Christian McCaffrey? And holy shit, we are in the Super Bowl, baby. 42, we are absolutely crushing. Wasn't the biggest game here from Justin Fields. Gross. Can we fix free agency, please, Madden? Get that patched up real quick. But, I mean, how do we put up that many points? JSN, it must have been defense. Our defense must have been getting a lot of turf. 4 sacks for Jalen Carter, Roquan, Jalen Johnson with the interceptions. And here in year 3 of a 5-year rebuild, a Cinderella run has occurred as the Chicago Bears are set to take on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens in Super Bowl Dallas. For the game here, we have our offensive rookie of the year, Jerry Barton. Just seeing if we got the, absolutely undeserved, but we'll take it superstar dev increase, which we did. I feel like our results in rebuilds, last 3 rebuilds or so, have been inconsistent. We started Madden 23 with nothing but Super Bowls. So as well, it might be a little anticlimactic to win the Super Bowl year 3 versus like, oh my God, at the buzzer, we find a way to win it in year 5. At this point, I'll take a Super Bowl win. I'll take a check mark next to this Bears rebuild as a successful rebuild in year 3. And we got an opportunity to try to make this maybe potentially a Dynasty 4 and 5. But look at this, the Ravens are not having any of it as they absolutely dominate the third quarter. We're stalling out here, but you know what? When we have our chances, we are taking our touchdowns. Do I come in? Is this going to take me? I hate this. Going to take me to 2-minute warning, and I waste this time. And it did. Awesome. All right, let's run this one. See what we can do. I mean, I just want to get here. I want to feel like, what's this offense look like now? Because where's it going to look like in 2 more seasons as we continue to spend this $100 million salary cap that we have available? You know what I'm saying? As we continue to dominate the draft, we've got 2. I mean, indirectly, we got that superstar wide receiver last year, but we got the superstar guard. Like, we are drafting incredibly well. And if we could be this ahead of schedule with Super Bowls, oh, who wants it? Boom, throw on the run, Cole Kmet. And that, most likely, ladies and gentlemen, will be the dagger for the Chicago Bears to be pulling off a Super Bowl victory here in year 3. A Cinderella run that we haven't seen since Philadelphia won the Super Bowl in 2017. Justin Fields, David Montgomery, Jaquan Brisker, they have all done it. That's actually, you could argue, I mean, our team's not bad. What is it, 88? But I'd say probably the most surprising, it's a genuine Cinderella run, I would say, out of all the rebuilds we've done. Probably the most surprising if you weighed, like, what are your expectations for this year of a rebuild? Out of all the rebuilds we've done, probably the least expectations that we win a Super Bowl right here. Yeah, but we did it, man. Justin Fields is that dude. He is him. I mean, he actually had a bad year, all things considered. What, 25 passing touchdowns? But it just goes to show you, man, you never know. You can get hot, and ridiculous things can happen here in Madden 23. We still have 2 years left. Let's see if we can make this Bears team in Dynasty and sneak that, second Super Bowl. Maybe we'll be greedy, try to get 2 more straight. But look at that, 180 yards rushing from David Montgomery. 5 passing touchdowns from Justin Fields. Wow. Now, I'm not going to be, rushing to spend all this money because at some point in this rebuild, we're going to have to pay Justin Fields. So, the more room that we have to do so, the better. But we threw a pretty competitive bid here on Nick Bolton. Now, I'm not sure how to read this, I don't know if it's a visual glitch or not. We've had it pop up a couple times where we look like we're the top offer, even though, in this case, the Texans have more bars. So I guess we will see. All right. So absolutely, even if you're in the top spot, don't take that as, free reign that you're going to get your top guy. Because look, now we missed out. I needed a linebacker. That's what I kind of want to target here. And for our scheme fit, it's looking, you could get Owe and put him back. He's absolutely a pass rusher, though. So defending Super Bowl champions with $106 million. I really, Passer Tate was literally the only kind of guy of do we want to go overkill? Superstar X Factor corner, but goddamn, all right, we'll just hold on to our money. Terrible team management, to be honest with you, but hopefully we can crush the draft and then, spend a whole lot of money next year. So for the draft here, we're really looking at 2 positions. One would just be best linebacker to try to throw in and add competition to Overshown. Goodson looks interesting, but we can wait on that one. We've got Thrillhouse, Tyrese Hillhouse. We'll call him Thrillhouse. He has that A-zone coverage, so you can only see tackling. But as you can see, a lot of the linebackers here that we're going to consider not first-round grade. Need a safety. We need someone that can come in and replace Eddie Jaxon. And, free, strong safety, it's all kind of the same. We at least have a couple projected ones. We have Jonathan Austin. Honestly, all 3 of these safeties look pretty good. Austin, second in the 40. Third 3-cone, first in the shuttle. Stats, okay, right? Not too bad. We got Justin Patterson, 6'2", whatever. Okay, you're not really getting as much of an athlete there. Or we have Larry Hutton out of Florida. Do we dare show some Gator bias? He has the best stats of the bunch. First in the 40, first in the 3-cone. I'll just de facto Gator bias on this one. Larry Hutton, and he pops with the hidden dev. Let's go. No! Thrill House! Oh my god, this almost set itself up for the perfect draft. We didn't have the offseason that we wanted. We couldn't get all the picks that we wanted. But the top linebacker I wanted was still on the board. Okay, Goodson most likely will be our next pick. Let's just, let me just double check here. There's no one else that pops with, the tendencies you want to look for in a linebacker. We just don't have the amount of scouting. This guy, Bobby Williams, looks okay. What's the combine? Oh, absolutely not. So Goodson, that's going to be our pick, even though I really wanted Thrill House. But I might be able to pop a dev here. He's a great athlete, and he does. So draft recap time. Both of our hidden dev hits, Larry Hutton and Goodson, at positions of need, are both 74 overall. Hutton, 91 speed, 92 acceleration. We already saw that. We got Dylan Batten, a center out of Notre Dame. He came 72 with the hidden dev as well. We just try not to gloat too much, but absolutely a home run pick. Rest of it, not too bad, just filling out depth, but I will take 3 hidden dev. 70-plus overall players from this draft kind of makes up for the fact that we, had a very quiet offseason despite having an absolute war chest of $119 million of salary cap. Year 4 as your defending Super Bowl champs, and really, that draft could not have gone any better for the holes that we couldn't fill. Get your mind out of the gutter, okay? Okay, right now. This kid's watching this. But every single spot that I wanted a free agent we couldn't bring in, we got a at least interesting draft prospect. As Batten will be our day 1 starter there on the offensive line. We are going into this season as well with Barton now being a superstar dev after winning Offensive Rookie of the Year last season. So this offense, absolutely, I fully expect take the next level, maybe see a little bit better production out of Justin Fields. Defensively, we got Jalen Carter, who's absolutely been ripping it up. He is now a superstar X factor, as is Roquan Smith. We'll make Goodson the starter at outside linebacker just because of the upside there. We got Brisker, Murphy Button, Johnson, and Gordon, and Hutton X factor. Oh shit! We drafted an X factor. These are few and far between. Let's go, Larry Hutton. Oh yeah, baby. What a pick. I will say this, I'm getting a little sick and tired of my X Factors always getting drafted year 4, year 5. I love these guys, year 1, year 2, so we can see their max ceiling. But absolutely, we didn't have really much of a, succession plan, if you will, with Life Beyond Eddie Jaxon. Kind of was like, all right, well, we popped a hidden dev rookie here in Hutton. Little did we know it would be that much of an upgrade. Let's go, man. Defending Super Bowl champs. An S-tier draft. Let's run it back. And we'll go, man, literally. Let's do it. Super Bowl is our goal. Remember how we had earlier in this rebuild the Adrian Peterson that's not Adrian Peterson, but we had that Adrian Peterson. And now we have the Bobby Wagner that's not the Bobby Wagner as our starting kicker. Midway point of year 4, trying to defend our Super Bowl title. That's a great start. We are 6-3, starting to pull ahead here of the NFC North lead. It is time, though, with our war chest to throw our money around here. Justin Fields up first, 5 years, $174 million deal. Happy they don't have to overpay. Happy that the interest was there. We got Jaquan Brisker at safety. I think another guy. We'll even give him player friendly. I think at this point we have so much money. Let's just get all these contracts over the line and still have more than enough ammunition. If there's an X factor that pops, I'll tell you right now, I want to bring back this guy. Can we get back the real Bobby Wagner? Please stand up. We got Kyler Gordon. Ooh, this one might be a little difficult. I'll offer him this just because he's homegrown, but if not, given some of the corners I've seen on the open market, might be he does come back. All right. Maybe that wasn't wise thinking. Maybe we could have got a bigger upgrade there, but I'm loyal. I'm loyal to these guys, especially the guys that we had on the base roster, and he's popped a dev in this video. So all that said and done, we still have $78 million worth of cap room as we head into our final free agency period. We'll do some damage as long as the players are there. Year 4 comes to a conclusion, and we are your NFC North champions, 11-6. So a great way to start our, defense type season. Justin Fields, pretty good. I don't know if we're going to win the MVP with him, but I think our team's good enough that we don't necessarily have to have an MVP under center to find more postseason success. 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns. We had 13 and 15 for David Montgomery. Pretty decent numbers for Fields here, rushing as well. On the receiving side of things, 67 catches, almost 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns for JSN. Barton had 10 touchdowns there as well. And on the defensive side, Goodson, our rookie. That might bode well. He is only a start at, but it might bode well for him to get Defensive Rookie of the Year and get that dev trade increase. Can we continue just to keep on crushing it with the devs? I hope so. 14 sacks from Gibson, 12 from Derek Brown, 9 from Hall, 7 from Jalen Carter, and Jalen Johnson finishes the season 6 interceptions. Outstanding production for a guy that's been here since day one. Dak is the MVP, and just quickly burning through this here. Goodson is the defensive rookie of the year, so I'm happy for him. Happy for our team, because that should be a big... And Bobby Wagner! Let's put some respect on this guy. Get out of here. Put some... Where are we going? Put some respect on the real Bobby Wagner. And first round of the playoffs is against the 9-8 49ers here as we look to go on a deep run to defend our Super Bowl title in the first round. We handle business 42-37. Maybe we're just a team that wins in the playoffs now. Justin Fields plays his best football in the playoffs. Second round, we cook the Cowboys, and it's a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game against the Carolina Panthers. Do we just have their number, or do they break even and make a little bit of a mini rivalry here? And they do. They get revenge. I'm pretty sure we saw they had Herbert at quarterback last year. Yeah. Justin Fields didn't play a bad game, just somewhat limited. You know what I'm saying? Maybe kudos to that Panthers defense. So close to be able to run it back. But we got ourselves a little bit of a spicy rivalry here. Can we make it 3 in a row? Get, best of 3 next year in year 5. Beat the Panthers to get back to our second Super Bowl. Well, it starts now. But I'll tell you what, I guarantee this Carolina Panthers team does not have almost $100 million to improve their team for one final year. I guarantee it. Year 4 ends. Hey, you know what? At least the Panthers didn't win on our dime. Fall to the Ravens 21-17. And for that, we are kind of grateful. Looking at our squad as far as depth traits are concerned to close it out, what are we going to have for the final year of the rebuild? Offensively, I was worried just more so that Justin Fields could lose his dev, and he did not. He's still staying there as superstar. Batten, who was our hidden dev center, just pops as a star. On the defensive side of the ball, Goodson with his defensive rookie of the year performance goes from normal up to a star. And Jalen Johnson with his 6 interceptions goes from star to a superstar. So really looking at where we can get better, it's going to be likely a situation where, I don't really think we need a starter right now looking at all these spots. And it might just be we just strengthening a position. Like if there's, a higher center than 78, maybe we just, even though that's a fine starting center, we try to upgrade there. Or maybe if there's someone better at corner than an 82, we just, or maybe we try to get an X Factor pass rusher potentially. But we are very, we're sitting pretty here going into year 5. No way around it. This team is very much stacked and ready to go and run it back for year 5. Let me tell you, it's a year that if you needed a running back, we don't. Strengthening already strong positions is what we're going to do. First up, we'll just go punter. Why not? Let's just have our special teams be the best. I got Linderbaum, we have a good center. He's just a really big upgrade. 5-6 points overall difference. So let's improve that offensive line. And then Dax Hill, we have our X Factor safety that we drafted. I'm just using Dax Hill as how a lot of people view him. He's going to be our slot eliminator. He's going to play starting in the slot position. We'll have Kyler Gordon be just depth corner at this point. So I feel like, we're going to try to get better at all 3 levels. And I mean, who wouldn't want to join a team that's gearing up to win another Super Bowl, right? With our final first-round pick of the rebuild, we'll just add a little bit of depth here to our pass rush. We're going to take a look at Dre Knox out of Central Florida. A power move, B tackle, combine pretty dang good. 3rd in the 40-yard dash, top 10, top 5 in the cone and the shuttle. Feel like we're getting a pretty decent player. Oh, no. I mean, we got the X Factor last year. We're getting greedy at this point. And we just let the draft kind of go off of our favorites board, and we got some value here. Dre Knox pops as a 73 normal dev. We get Jay Kerr, a 75 normal dev corner in the second round. That's outstanding. That's first round type value. A 71 normal D tackle. We got in the 6th round a 70 normal wide receiver out of Georgia, Cade Robinson, bringing that track background, 96 speed, 95 acceleration. So a solid draft to wrap up what I think generally has been one of our strongest drafting rebuilds yet. So here's how our final Chicago Bears team is going to line up. We got Jenkins, Linderbaum, Onwenu, all players that we took the easy way out. Just signed and paid them a bunch of money. But we drafted Nayland, superstar guard. We developed Jenkins. We got Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, Justin Fields, David Montgomery. Drafted both Jaxon, Smith-Njigba, reuniting him with Justin Fields, and drafted the superstar Barton. But I think, you know what? I don't want to say I've been underwhelmed with Justin Fields, but I do think I thought maybe he'd go you know, a little more insane, a little more ham, statistically speaking. I thought he'd be a little bit more of an MVP contender, but he got us a Super Bowl in year 3, and I'll take a Super Bowl and a check mark next to this rebuild. A successful rebuild. It's not a success if we win the MVP and get no Super Bowls, you know what I'm saying? But JSN has also been absolutely incredible, man. Guy with, you know, he's going to be 99 club before too long, only 24 years old, and has absolutely become our wide receiver 1. Looking at the defense, Hall, Brown, drafted Hall, paid for Brown, developed Gibson, drafted Jalen Carter, absolute stud. We got Roquan, Edmonds, and Goodson. Hutton, we brought in Dax Hill. We'll see in just one second how we're going to use him. Brisker's developed nicely. Signed Murphy Bunting in free agency. Developed Johnson, developed Gordon. It's a fine balance of how we went about building this team, and we're going to have Dax Hill be our starting slot corner. I think he's going to be a game changer for us. I wouldn't be surprised when all is said and done if he ends up leading this team in interceptions. But we are gearing up here year 5, 93 overall squad. I'm thinking this team has a chance 14, 15 wins, somewhere in that territory here in year 5. And you know what it do. Super Bowl. And it's a little bit underwhelming. Usually I don't want to complain too much. You know, we won the division. 11-6 is not too bad, but when you look at our team, 97 offense, 93 defense, 95 overall, I was thinking, man, this team could push. We're still looking for that golden season. You know, 17-0. It's out there. We're going to get it one of these years. But also, knowing how Justin Fields has kind of performed this year, you're going to need, you know, we're going to be looking at like the Bucks or the Chiefs or something like that. You're going to need a good playbook. But still, great year for Fields. 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, only 5 picks. 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns for Montgomery. 6-5 for Justin Fields. Really doing it all. JSN continues to be our best receiver. 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns for him. Defensively, Roquan over 100 tackles, 3 picks, 11.5 sacks Darren Hall, 11.5 Derek Brown, 11 for Jalen Carter, 8 for Gibson. The pass rush was great. Turnovers in the secondary weren't the hottest, but I mean, you can still have a good secondary and not get a lot of turnovers. It is possible. Trevor Lawrence is the MVP. Ugh, man, can we get like some level of, what? Can the Jags just re-sign that guy, please? 9th for the MVP voting for Justin Fields. Looking quickly for the yearly awards. Jaylon is lineman of the year. He's already a superstar, so we can't really be looking for much of a dev trait there. And we just saw Will Anderson. Who would have thought, man, this rebuild kind of started on the back foot a little bit, thinking we'd get Will Anderson. And unfortunately, we could not. Look at that! Wild card round. It's our mini rivalry of the rebuild. We are getting to take on the Carolina Panthers. This time very early in the playoffs. And we handle business 28-26. I mean, they were just, you know, they were paying our ass. And luckily, Justin Fields said, we are going 2-1 against you guys in this rebuild. And I'm going to go for 4 touchdowns. Next round of the playoffs, we're taking on the 10-7 LA Rams. Rams are an interesting one. Usually, like, their last couple of Maddens, they're not very good for whatever reason. And we handle business, man, 28-24. Wasn't a shootout. Let's just quickly focus here on the Giants, our 95 overall juggernaut squad. If you said C4, I mean, they got an X-Factor quarterback, but does the best team win more often than not, especially when it's this much of an advantage in Madden 23? So far, in my experience, the answer is yes. I am fully prepared to end this rebuild on a wet fart of us getting, you know, the brakes beaten off us by an 87 overall freaking Giants team that squeaked into the playoffs. But we handle business, baby. Let's go! 34-19 to set up a Super Bowl matchup against the Chargers. 3 touchdowns for Justin Fields. The battle of the Ohio State quarterbacks. CJ Stroud had 3 interceptions. You can't do that, buddy. Dax Hill. I knew that would be a good signing. Dax Hill finishes with 2 interceptions in the slot. Murphy Bunting with 1. Both very nice, impactful free agency signings as we have an opportunity to get a second Super Bowl here, this time against the Chargers. You know we're going to hop in. You know we're going to sit front row. You know we're going to dip into the sticks and try to see this one out. Let's go, man. It feels like it's been a minute since we've been able to build a dynasty. 2 Super Bowls would be great for me. Both these teams starting out hot, scoring touchdowns on open drive. Looked like there might have been a turnover there for the Chargers. We punished them with a touchdown, and we were just piling it on. 21-7. Chargers get a touchdown before the end of the first half. If they give me, I was gonna say, they gave me a 3rd down there. I think it's time to hop up. But man, we are just trading touch. Let's take a shot here. 3rd and inches on the 40. lot of time left. I think we absolutely have to take a shot here. We got Mooney, all of our big weapons out there. We'll go David Montgomery, pass pro. Cole Kmet is absolutely on. We still have a timeout, so we could get the first down and get some points here, but we want to take a shot, man. Let's take a shot, man. Well, get a little bit of a shot. Get the throw off. Let the real Bobby Wagner, kicker of the year, give us 30-plus points going into halftime. That the really Bobby Wagner does his job. 10-point lead. We just go all the way downfield here. Third down. Can we get a touchdown? Let's help the boys out. We'll get stick. Have the slant right at the top of the screen. Have an option. Maybe Cole Kmet's wide open. Sometimes linebackers fall asleep on this play. Oh, that's stupid. No! Could have been picked. 31 is that. Nasir Adderley, who's a little more aggressive. Could have get the pick. We'll take the points. They're not the worst thing that could have happened. Both teams trade field goals. Bobby Wagner missed one. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, no. What is going on, man? How are we not killing the clock? Okay, we're going to come in here. Through the Panthers franchise, I feel a lot better with my defensive skills. Oh, let's take him on the knees. There's no way. Oh, my God. What happened? Why would you just let me play that? We won. Oh, my God. So much chaos. Clock was running. They had a timeout. I don't know what was going on there. Terrible clock management. Is freaking, who's their old coach? Remember their old coach? They just had the running back guy. He was so bad with clock management. Is he back in the building? I don't know why I can't. Anthony Lynn. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Lynn back on the sidelines there for the Chargers. Real dicey finish to this one. But it don't matter, man. No second place. People only remember first. People aren't going to remember that finish. They're only going to remember that the Chicago Bears have won 2 Super Bowls in a 5-year period on the back of that man right there, QB number 1. So that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you guys very much for watching today's Realistic Rebuild. As always, for all of our Madden 23 uploads, if we can break that 1,000 like goal, it seems to make the YouTube robots very, very happy, as well as in the comment section below. What a hit that was. In the comment section below, let me know what team you want to see next on the rebuilds. We will be doing the most popular teams that pop up. But that will do it for me here today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And if it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. We have a new episode of the Carolina Panthers franchise dropping tomorrow. Hopefully, by the end of the week, we get that first big Madden 23 roster update, and we can start exploring some options here for some Madden 23 pink slips as well. So, exciting time for the channel. Make sure you guys stay tuned to your sub boxes. But that will do it for me here today, guys. Thank you much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Love ya. Actually, you know what? You know what? If you're still here, I did the outro. Let's take a look at the stats. Let's look at it, guys. Let's see how these guys played throughout this 5-year period. I gotta get that into these videos more. I think that's interesting to look at. All right, if you stayed past my intro, you didn't just click off right away. Let's look at the stats here for our squad after 5 seasons. Justin Fields, 22,000 yards passing, 170 touchdowns to 65 picks. Also chipped in 3,000 yards rushing, 21 rushing touchdowns. He was good. He was good. He wasn't great. He wasn't S tier, but he was very good for this rebuild. David Montgomery finished with 9,500. We'll round up. Rushing yards, 74 touchdowns. Very good for him. He's very consistent. Darnell Mooney, over 6,000 yards receiving. Over 50 on the dot. JSN, 3 seasons, 50 touchdowns. Ridiculous production for him. Cole Kmet was solid as well. On the defensive side, Roquan over 1,000 tackles. That's in-house. We have 52 sacks from Gibson. We have 43 sacks, 70 TFLs for Jalen Carter. What a draft pick he was. 33.5 sacks for Derek Hall. And on the intercept front, 17 picks, Roquan, 11 for Gordon, 10 for Johnson. He had 6 in 1 season. But all said and done, man, very, very fun rebuild. I've been wanting to do the Bears sooner than later. So I'm glad that it all worked out. 2 Super Bowls to the good. So again, we're not going to redo that outro, but let me know in the comment section below, fellas, what team you want to see next year in the rebuilds. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube robot stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out. I love ya.